Yeah.
Dude, what is your problem, bro? Are you looking this? You see this? Are you recording?
We're all recording. I'm recording. I'm
Okay.
not hiding anything.
Good. I'm gonna get that body cam, bro.
Okay.
I'm gonna file a complaint on you.
Okay.
That's out of line.
Do you have any other videos?
Convenient? You know exactly what you meant by that.
You're choosing to record what you want.
I'm recording the whole interaction. I turned and walked away. And you're
So-
telling me that's convenient? Were you there? Do you know what happened? I'm trying to give you evidence right now, and you're starting to you.
My name is Lieutenant Colonel Lee Roger Wolfgram, and I am a storyteller. Welcome to the bunker. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Colonel channel where I give you Colonel advice and legal analysis. And for our video today, we have another one of the First Amendment auditors. And oh, by the way, I don't always agree with all the First Amendment auditors' tactics, but I do believe they serve a valuable purpose. Now that the police have cameras, you know, people having cameras is important because what I have found since police cameras have come into the criminal defense realm is that the cameras answer all the questions that used to just be, I don't know. But one of the things that I really get upset with the police about is when they take one side. And I think in this video, that's exactly what this person is upset about, is that the police go to the reporting party. That's the investigation. They've already determined that someone is guilty, and that pisses me off. So that's what got me riled up to do this video. So let's just see what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Thousand Trails, we need the sheriff.
Okay, this is the sheriff.
Hello, this is a security officer here. We're having an issue with a guest who's become aggravated and is now threatening if we approach him.
Okay, and what is he doing?
He's threatening. He's sending texts to us because we're not answering all his questions properly, and now he says if we approach him, his PTSD is getting aggravated and it could escalate if we approach him.
So what exactly is the threat?
He wants to have the sheriff escort him down to site A42 when they arrive.
Okay, and then he wants us to go over there and escort to the mail.
He would like to be escorted down to talk to this guy, yeah.
Does he have any weapons on him that you know of?
We don't know that.
Okay.
Are they on the way, by the way?
Yeah, I do have help started that way. Is he white, black, Asian, or Hispanic?
I do not know.
You don't know what he looks like?
I haven't seen him, so I don't know.
Okay.
So are they dispatched already?
Yeah, I do have help started that way, sir. Okay. I did let them know that.
Key point here. So he hasn't actually seen the guy, the reporting party on the 911 call.
That he is at the office right now with your manager, okay?
Do you have backup coming?
We have units responding.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Don't step out of the vehicle, please. What? I'm on private property, boss. Have I broken the law? Step out of the vehicle, please. Have I broken the law? No, but this...
Okay, so right here, have I broken the law? That's a good question because it really kind of sets the preamble for everything that occurs after that. So when you're building a case, you kind of have to have the initial reason for the contact with the police. And then after that, what the police can do is based upon what evidence or what they see themselves.
I can step out and we can talk. Well, this isn't a traffic stop.
Step out of the car. We're giving you a lawful order.
Step out of the car. This is not a traffic stop.
It's not a traffic stop. I would agree. He's already stopped, which can be important later.
This is not a traffic stop. Step out of the car. I have not broken a law.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're under arrest, so get out of the car.
You're under arrest, get out of the car. This is where it starts, and you can see why the cops come off always. You know, on my channel, like I said, I give Colonel advice and legal analysis, and sometimes it's just better to cooperate so you can go on with your day. But when you've been challenged and the police are coming on strong like this and they're wrong, that's when people should actually start to make them answer these questions, because not only is it on the camera you have, but it's also on the cameras that the officers have. So this stuff can be revealed in the future.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
What am I under arrest
Disorderly
for?
conduct. Get out of the car.
Yeah, what disorderly conduct?
Get out of the car. We'll talk about it. But right now you're resisting arrest.
Okay, disorderly conduct. The reporting party didn't even see him. There's no disorderly conduct that I saw here in the officer's presence. So I don't know where they get disorderly conduct from that they can do anything about.
Get out of the car, we're gonna drag you out. We're gonna break your window, drag you out. Don't do this.
What conduct did I do that was
Disorderly conduct, it's a criminal charge.
disorderly conduct?
ARS 13-2904, anything that disrupts the peace of another. Get out of the car, you're under arrest.
Wait, you witnessed disorderly conduct to arrest?
Get out of the car.
Is there a sergeant here?
My lieutenant's right here.
Okay,
Get out of the car.
Disorderly conduct to arrest me,
We're
Lieutenant?
trying to talk to you.
Well, he's saying I'm under arrest.
So once you roll on the window, we'll talk to each other.
Well, am I under arrest or not?
We're doing an
So I'm not
investigation.
under arrest and they
Okay,
just
but
threatened
you're
to
being
arrest?
detained. You're being lawfully.
Okay, so now the lieutenant's there. You're being detained, but you're not under arrest. They have very different implications when it comes to next things.
You're being lawfully detained.
Okay, I'll agree with you there.
So, you want to act like a normal person?
Am I under arrest like this officer?
Okay, what
just
did I
said?
just
This is
tell you?
crap. You want to act like a normal person. Well, do you want to act like a police officer that knows what the laws are and when you can demand ID and when you have to be present to observe the conduct or when you have to conduct an evidentiary sort of investigation?
What did I just tell you?
You said I'm not.
What did I tell you? That you're being detained, right?
So detained is a really fancy word for we're just going to hold you here. We don't really have any crime yet. And police are famous for turning these detentions by amping it up, playing big bully, and then creating a situation for which they can make an arrest.
Sir, please step out of the vehicle.
No.
Okay.
So I said I'll
There you
talk
go.
to you.
Okay, do you have any weapons in your car?
I'm not going to answer any
Okay,
questions.
because this is a big difference between us taking you out or not. So you can roll down the window the whole way and let us see your hands, or we're going to break you out of the car. Roll down the window. Okay, this isn't a bro. We're getting to the point where this isn't a negotiation. Okay.
I understand my rights. I have no officer.
Okay, well, if you understand your rights,
Both of my
there's a
hands
Supreme
right
Court
now.
case that says you have to get out of the
If
car.
it's a lawful traffic
It is a lawful traffic.
On private property?
We are stopping you. Okay,
So
do you
what am
want
I
to
being
argue about
stopped
this,
for?
or do you want to talk about why we're here?
I want to know.
Let me see
You
both
said I'm
your
under
hands.
arrest, and you said maybe. Now I'm not stopped for a traffic stop. Clearly.
You're being legally detained.
Okay, to
now we're going to knock
investigate
this out.
something. To investigate something?
Yes.
Okay. What are you investigating?
Disorderly conduct.
Okay. Where? Well, I wasn't disorderly. So, what do you want to know?
What happened?
Okay, right? The police are there to investigate. So the guy just says, well, I didn't commit a crime. What do you want to know? And what other evidence do they have other than the 911 call? So detaining, okay, answering questions about what occurred. Okay.
What? I mean, I have on film me just talking to him very, you know, he was not, we weren't but we were
So I tried to arrange a meeting with this guy. We had an incident. He got in one of my security guys' face last night, so I tried to arrange a meeting with the guy. Then he got all pissy on a text with security, even though I'd sent him an email to meet with me about his actions. So then he came up and just stormed the office. Very combative. We have a history at one of the other parks of being combative. He recorded me the whole time. I just wanted to have a professional conversation.
Describe combative. What does that mean?
Raising his voice extremely high.
Okay, so yelling.
Not listening to my side. He's recording me.
Was he?
He tried. I have a kind of a line cross, and he tried to. And he got in my security guy's face last night.
Okay.
So I just wanted to have a conversation with him.
So I want to make a point here. So socially acceptable norms are not laws. So maybe this guy is being disruptive. Maybe this guy is raising his voice. But if this guy is not threatening anything and he's not really doing anything other than expressing his concerns, I don't know that you have a disorderly conduct here either.
A conversation with him this morning about our rules and policies. As he escalated this morning. I tried to do it in a professional way. And he said we've aggravated his PTSD, and all I tried to do was talk to him about the rules and policies, and then it got to this.
Okay, so how close was he when he was yelling at you?
Oh, within 3 feet. But he was yelling and using it as what the conversation was last night. So it wasn't like he's very intimidating. I mean, that's all I can say.
Was he cussing?
No.
He's very intimidating. Again, did he actually make a threat, or is he just intimidating and you're nervous about it? But I mean, your feelings are not really an enforceable offense against someone who hurt them.
Was he cussing?
No cussing.
Okay, did he threaten you?
Just said he was going to take it to legal and corporate. And
okay. So what are the text messages?
So this is what concerned us at first. The security officer basically said that we were going to meet with him at 8:42 at 10:30. He said, "Are you refusing?" And he says, "Why are you being invasive? Please give me the manager's email." I sent him the email with all my contact information. Then he says, "Act like no one is safe here, and you're rude, immature, and evasive. Now you made me unsafe and aggravated I will only communicate. Do not approach me, or else things may escalate." So we thought, well, this is kind of getting out of hand. And then we just called because we needed some backup, because obviously wasn't going to get a regular conversation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so all of that, what's the crime? So here's the thing. The police have to reasonably articulate that there's some crime. And what happens a lot of times is when they run out of things, they make them up. And we're going to see in a little bit the big powwow they have when they figure out what is it we can really get this guy with. And it really shows you the manipulation about whether or not you are arrested. Really, the biggest judge, I've always said this, the biggest judge in your criminal case is that original encounter with the police, because they can decide which way it's going to go. If you win the judge on that one, you could potentially win the case because you never get charged. On the other hand, if you want to challenge the police, you're going to go into the challenge mode, and the police are going to do everything they can do to show you that they have
a regular conversation.
Okay. So what are you guys wanting done?
Well, he can't really stay here.
Do you want him trespassed from the property?
Soliciting a trespass. Do you want him trespassed from the property? Okay, that's I guess a fair question, but in the context, it's almost like a solicitation.
I said, I need you to leave the property and we'll deal with this outside, we'll deal with this after the fact, but he can't be here acting like this, and he's already intimidated one of my staff last night. He's intimidating to us.
Okay.
So he can't really be here.
Okay. All right. Do you feel you keep saying he's intimidating and combative? So combative.
Very argumentative.
Just argumentative. Okay. Was he squaring up with you, bowing up?
No, just.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I don't think he's threatening my safety.
Threatening to do anything at all?
And you guys don't want him here anymore because of him violating whatever policies, rules you have?
Well, at this point, since it's got combative like this,
okay,
and that it's going to escalate, and even though he didn't even respond to my email about meeting with me,
okay,
and then he just came to the office.
You want him trespassed
so
now,
what?
and you want him off property now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I have nothing right. I paid $6,500 to be a member in it. I have no disorderly conduct. Been a member of this for over 2 years. I haven't broken any laws.
Don't go anywhere.
Just wait.
Okay, so here's the big powwow, and I have to give credit to this. This is the supervisor on the scene, and in my other videos, I always talk about when the police come on strong, they leave themselves no room to back off in order to save face, and they really need to have mechanisms where they de-escalate. And I think this lieutenant does a good job of doing that, reasoning through this. So this is actually someone who is making the officers reason through this. How do you come to this conclusion? So that bit of the powwow, I think, is good. What I don't think is good is when they powwow to determine what crimes they have evidence for.
Okay. Is this your call?
No, it's
Whose call is it? It's
Yeah.
yours?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so here's the deal. Basically, do we have disorderly conduct?
so. With him, it doesn't sound like it was necessarily disorderly. He was argumentative, went into the store or whatever, and last night had gotten into an argument and gotten into a security guard's face. That was last night. Today he went in there basically doing this, argumentative, yelling, screaming.
He was yelling and screaming.
No profanities, no threats. He was about 3 feet away from the guy the whole time. He said he felt intimidated, but he didn't feel like he was like in.
Wasn't trying to start a fight with them.
No,
Like, if you look at
and
the
I asked
disorderly conduct statute, I mean, does this guy fit the statute?
Disturb the peace of another.
I mean,
Well,
Property.
but
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yes.
these guys are, so they're.
Yeah,
I,
I
like,
see what you're saying.
they
I don't know
just
if you could disturb the peace of somebody who isn't at
Right.
peace at the
I
time.
see what you're saying.
It's like if I'm starting an argument with you and you're arguing back with
Yeah,
me,
it's
you know.
mutual. I got you, yeah.
So basically,
So I think
and then I don't think they could trespass this guy because like
it's private property.
you buy into this.
I mean,
So,
they
like,
might
he's
be
a member.
violating their own policies or their own whatever the heck, and they might have a lawsuit on the civil side, but it's still private property. They can kick him out if he wants.
Yeah, but he's
Okay,
part
so-
of an owner
so-
though.
Okay, so he's not just camping here.
So
He's in an RV spot. He's like one of these other RV guys. It's no different than like a hotel, isn't it? I mean,
I don't know. Let me ask this dude what's
Well, let me go ask him real
That's
quick.
it,
like,
because he said he
what's-
paid $6,000.
Oh, I
so
didn't hear
like,
that.
like if he's a member in this, and
is that any different than like a timeshare guy that buys into something and staying at a hotel? Like, it's no different.
So as far as the hotel goes,
well, okay. So let me ask you this: are you guys willing to fuck this guy up? Because that's what's going to happen.
no, I don't.
mean, we're gonna-
No,
I'm not here
yeah,
to.
no, absolutely
So-
not.
I'm not here to fight or
No,
anything like
absolutely
that.
not.
So
Here's my concern about this is it seems like at this point there's a choice on whether you do that to someone or you don't. And that is really alarming to me. Like, do we really go full force on this guy or do we not go full force on this guy? And it's that discretion right at that point of the incident. That's why I say very, very powerful judgment powers there. So take that for what it's worth. The colonel advice is always get through the day to live another battle, right? The legal advice is you don't have to do anything. And this is typical behavior that I do not agree with because it leads to arrest for some people and not arrest for other people. Take that for what it's worth if you deal with the police.
Absolutely not.
so
No.
that's what I mean. So we got this murky civil process.
Uh-huh.
So why are we going to put ourselves in a line? Because it really doesn't change our life if we walk this guy or not.
Except
Because-
Whether we walk the guy or not. So we have that. We can walk the guy or not walk the guy. Is there a crime or is there not a crime?
for
because-
the trespassing part.
Well, I'm not sure if he is. And
Okay.
if we don't know for sure that he's trespassing,
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's look at the trespassing statute and see. But if he's not absolutely trespassing, if he has some type of property rights to this,
I'm
then
going to go ask them what exactly his role as far as does he live here temporarily? Kind of like does he rent basically?
He has 20. Here, I got some paperwork in here. I can show you.
And then
He has
also, is that what I'm thinking too, is that, you know, you can't just, when you look at some of these are like residential things, like that guy and these guys with the porches. So, you know, that's what it makes it look to me like more of a landlord-tenant thing, or maybe they might have to, their corporate might have to sue this guy to kick him out of the park.
I see what you're saying.
You know,
Okay.
because he's probably violating the terms of his contract. You know, there's probably some language in there that says, hey, I can't be an asshole when I'm staying here, but that's not us to enforce. You know, so
Right.
So I think the lieutenant is doing good mentoring there. Other than that, do you have a choice or not a choice, which, you know, that might just be how he's leading this. He's speaking the language and kind of illustrating. So I don't have any, I don't really have any problem with this lieutenant taking these officers back and making them reason through what it is. And I think that's good to do.
Right.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like we could seriously put the hurt into this guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Some-
and that's not the route I want to take.
No.
I mean, but that's where it's going to go.
I'm not that this is anything, but the reservation number, and they got a 21 night reserve. in and out, so it's not like he's got his member number though. So
Yeah.
I don't know what this means in
Yeah, we gotta
comparison.
kind of figure out what his deal is as far as property rights. Buy a membership in, it ranges from like 6,000 to 16,000, and then you pay yearly dues. The reason I'm staying is because I have a right to stay and I haven't done anything wrong.
And we're going to figure that out. All right, thanks.
Corey, I apologize. I made a mistake in saying that you're under
really
arrest for
appreciate
disorderly conduct.
All right.
Wow. I see, that's refreshing. Can we apologize and say we made a mistake? Wow, that's great. More officers should be saying that.
Okay, so he says that he has basically like a timeshare through Thousand Trails.
It's a membership. We control it. It's a privilege. It's not a right.
Okay.
And I mean, we could basically suspend him or terminate his membership at this juncture for acting like he is.
Well, that's a legal conclusion, right? It's not he does have contract rights. So, you know, they may not be civil rights, it may not be that kind of rights, but there are contract rights here. So that legal conclusion should be rightfully left to the civil courts. He's paid money for something here.
He doesn't lease a site. There's no tenant-landlord agreement or nothing.
So he doesn't fill out any rental agreements or anything like that.
No rental agreements at all. It's a right-to-use contract. I even put all of our rules in here related to the issue last night, and all of our membership rules. Mm-hmm. And one of them is being disruptive. We're not abusive or disruptive behavior. Okay. That's one of them.
And remember, membership rules are membership rules. They're not criminal statutes. You shouldn't be calling the police for this stuff unless there really is something that's a crime.
Abusive or disruptive behavior. Okay. That's one of them. You know, I know if he has a service animal, we have to be respectful of that, but the dog wasn't under his control. It wasn't leashed. He had an electric vehicle in the lodge, which we don't allow vehicles in the lodge.
So that's your guys'...
Those are all our rules that I sent him.
As far as... So he hasn't filled out any lease agreements?
No.
Or rental agreements?
They're just right-to-use contracts to use our facilities. That's all they are. And so at this juncture, we could submit him up for suspension or termination, depending on how he goes with this.
Okay. All right. Well,
so it could affect his future usage of our membership, but there is no tenant landlord.
Hello, security.
Just hang tight for me, okay? ALT.
Yeah, this tactical mute thing, this also pisses me off too, because if this is public record, this is happening in public, why do you need to turn off your cameras? The police say it's for tactical reasons. I don't see really any tactical reason here. What I think this is just covering up the conversation.
I'm terrible with names. Corey, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, you're free to go. And I'm going to ask you, you don't have to?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to show me the recording?
Yes.
Okay.
I will show you the recording. Of in here?
Of the
Now that we're done, you release me and we're good to go. I'll shut off my phone and
you're 100% free.
I'll just show you so that you can get the tone of what was going on there. And back, you know why.
Okay, so now they want to look at the video. They want to actually do the investigation. They came up, they said, hey, you're free to go. Asked him if he would do things. So I'm going to say, so far as comparing this to other ones, the police are doing a fair job. If that's what they're going to actually do, is let him go.
Did we get his name from Hey, Corey.
From the plate trouble.
Did we? Okay, can we double check on that?
I double check it now.
Okay. What kind of dog you have?
Lab.
Just a lab? very interested in everything.
Just tell them that big X-Men are down here. How are you doing? Oh, good. How about yourself, man? Where's you? Okay, so this is the security office. So you can just see it here. So here's security when he says I was out disorderly at security. So I'm walking around. I think it stalls for a second because he.
You guys just want to watch that? I'm gonna go talk to them. Okay, so after talking with my lieutenant, so we think this is more of a civil dispute between the two. Okay, between the company and him.
Good.
So I'd recommend going to court to get him taken away from the property, evicted, never to use the company again.
Well, we don't need to go through court. We can suspend him today.
That's
But
gonna
how
be,
do we get him off the property?
Again, we're being told that he has some sort of agreement that he's allowed to. Okay.
No.
But we don't know. Okay. So we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna tell him that he's not.
Why?
to have
Because
any
that's a
contact
judge's
with you,
decision, not a
Any
cop's
of you.
decision, and not
Okay.
a landlord's.
and vice versa. You guys just leave him alone. Now, if something disorderly happens to the point where he's threatening, okay, meaning I'm gonna hurt you, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna break whatever, I'm gonna burn stuff down, whatever, or he's trying to fight you guys, okay, squaring up, bowing up, getting in fighting stances, cussing at you, yelling at you, call us, because then we can come back, okay, because that's disorderly conduct.
But by our rules, and he's subject to our rules, if we can ask him to,
Police don't enforce your rules.
we can ask him to leave at any time.
You can ask him.
Yeah, but he's
Okay.
not going to.
But we can't force him right now. And talking with my lieutenant, he's agreeing that we're not going to force him to leave. Okay, because it sounds like a big civil issue between you guys. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I guess that's. I mean, in other incidents we've had before with similar issues, we haven't had that problem with asking someone to leave. I think he's just really pushed the line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know we're hearing some of what he's saying. I mean, I know he's putting you guys in a bad light too.
Mm-hmm. It's just that we have to listen to both sides. We have to come up with a solution. Okay, and we've determined that there's no crime.
No, there's no crime.
Okay, so that's where,
No, just breaking member rules.
but that's not a law crime. So, does that make sense? So,
Yeah, it's still competitive.
I know. So, but okay. Well,
All
just if something else happens, call us. Okay. All right.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Security. So I'm walking around. I think it stalls for a second because he.
You guys just want to watch that? I'm gonna go.
Do you go inside the office? No. This one.
I can't
But this
see
one
too
you
much.
didn't go
I'm just
in at
trying to
all?
listen at this point. Oh, that's better.
Is that
It's
better?
the sun when you face it that way.
Which way?
When you face it that way, it's in the sun and you can't see it as well.
Hello. Hi. Hey. What's going on? Hi.
Just want to see his demeanor.
Kim. Oh man, you guys, trust me, this is gonna get real.
That looks like that's that. That one. So then
Why did that stop recording though? Was your interaction done with
I
that?
walked away. I was like, this is gonna get, and I just walked away.
Convenient.
Convenient. What's convenient?
Oh, nothing.
You have the other ones on there. What's convenient?
The fact that you stopped recording when you wanted to.
When I walked away, it was convenient.
Yeah.
Dude, what is your problem, bro? Are you looking to? You see this? Are you recording?
We're all recording. I'm recording. I'm not
Okay,
hiding anything.
good. I'm gonna get that body cam, bro.
Okay.
I'm gonna file a complaint on you.
Okay.
That's out of line.
Do you have any other videos?
Convenient? You know exactly what you meant by that.
You're choosing to record what you want.
I'm recording the whole interaction. I turned and walked away. And you're
So-
telling me that's convenient? Were you there? Do you know what happened? I'm trying to give you evidence right now, and you're starting shit. To you.
I'll leave LT. I'm sorry. That was my mistake.
All right, man.
I apologize, sir. I'm leaving. Clearly, I'm aggravating things.
This guy's fun. All right, man. Yeah, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, no, I fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you shouldn't have let your smart-ass cop snide remarks affect an investigation. But this is common. See, this is how you just get treated with that sort of condescending attitude. And that's the thing the lieutenant should work on this officer with, is his attitude when he's dealing with people that are trying to share evidence of an investigation and then makes their own comment. Like, that's just completely inappropriate. So guess what happens next, right? So he files a report with the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department originally agrees and apologizes. When he presses to escalate his complaint, they charge him with all of these crimes that they already determined they didn't have evidence to charge. Completely retaliatory. Check this out.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, no, I fucked up. I'm sorry.
Because I was going to try to talk to him afterwards and ask him not to put on YouTube.
Well, that was going to happen anyways, so.
Mr. Drew was allowed to leave with no further incident. The next day, he filed a complaint with Lieutenant Joe Johnson of the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office and uploaded his cell phone video footage of the incident to his YouTube channel. According to a lawsuit filed by Mr. Drew, Lieutenant Johnson replied to the complaint on December 20th, 2022, informing Mr. Drew that he would be, quote, addressing things which should have been done differently. When Mr. Drew pushed for further details, Lieutenant Johnson informed Mr. Drew that he would review so-called civil rights issues and communication de-escalation skills with the first two deputies, and that the agency was developing additional training on these issues for patrol deputies. Mr. Drew's YouTube video then began to go viral, and the department began to receive phone calls with complaints about the incident from citizens. On December 27th, 2022, Mr. Drew indicated that he would like to escalate his complaint, and in response, Lieutenant Johnson reversed his decision on the complaint. On December 29th, he ordered Deputy Larry Hooten to reinvestigate the incident at Thousand Trails. And on February 16, 2023, Mr. Drew was arrested on 2 counts of disorderly conduct, 2 counts of threatening or intimidating, resisting arrest, failure to comply with a police officer, and failure to stop or provide identification. Mr. Drew represented himself in court. And on February 15, 2024, the resisting arrest, failure to comply with a police officer, and failure to stop or provide identification charges were dismissed for a lack of probable cause. For the remaining 4 charges, Mr. Drew filed a motion to dismiss under Arizona's so-called anti-SLAPP law, which is short for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation, and the charges were dismissed on March 1st, 2024. Anti-SLAPP legislation is generally aimed at protecting individuals from civil litigation intended to chill free speech on matters of public concern. However, Arizona's anti-SLAPP statute is unique in that it was amended in 2022 to not only apply to civil lawsuits, but also criminal prosecutions. In fact, as of the date of writing this episode, Arizona is the only state in the U.S. that has allowed an anti-SLAPP type defense to apply to criminal prosecutions. The law is outlined in Section 12-751 of the Arizona Revised Statutes and is titled Strategic Actions Against Public Participation rather than Strategic Lawsuits Against Public Participation. So technically, Arizona has an anti-SLAPP statute rather than an anti-SLAPP law. The anti-SLAPP law is applicable to, quote, any legal action, which the statute defines as including both civil lawsuits as well as any criminal prosecution, excepting drug trafficking offenses, riots, certain quote-unquote serious offenses, or violent or aggravated felonies. Essentially, the statute states that when a covered criminal prosecution, now quoting, involves a person's lawful exercise of the right of petition, the right of speech, the freedom of the press, the right to freely associate, or the right to peaceably assemble, the defendant may file a motion to dismiss the charges. The defendant must then establish, now quoting, prima facie proof that the legal action was substantially motivated by a desire to deter, retaliate against, or prevent the lawful exercise of a constitutional right. In other words, the defendant must put forth sufficient or adequate evidence that supports the claim that they are being prosecuted in retaliation for exercising their First Amendment rights, or in order to discourage them from exercising those rights further. Once the defendant provides this so-called prima facie evidence, the burden of proof then shifts to the prosecution, who must show, now quoting, that the legal action on which the motion is based is justified by clearly established law, and that the responding party did not act in order to deter, prevent, or retaliate against the moving party's exercise of constitutional rights. The statute explains that the prosecution can do this by establishing that the person who initiated and conducted an investigation that resulted in the legal action and that made the decision to pursue the legal action was unaware of the defendant's lawful exercise of First Amendment rights, establishing that the state actor has a consistent practice of pursuing similar legal actions against similarly situated persons who did not lawfully exercise First Amendment rights, or producing any other evidence that the court finds sufficient. If the prosecution does not meet their burden of proof, then the anti-SLAPP statute requires that the motion to dismiss be granted. Now, in this case, the court found that Mr. Drew had provided prima facie evidence that the prosecution was motivated by the filing of his complaint and or the sharing of the altercation on his YouTube channel, and the state failed to rebut this evidence and prove that the prosecution was not, in fact, motivated by his First Amendment protected activity. Accordingly, the judge dismissed the remaining criminal charges.
Okay, well, there you go. You have an auditor. I don't even know if the guy was an auditor, but you had a guy who stood his ground. You had police that were doing the right thing in terms of, at least letting him go because the lieutenant on the scene kind of forced them to reason through it. And then it goes to apparently some other lieutenant who originally says, yeah, you're right, that, that was not appropriate, and we're going to do some training. And as soon as he pushes back on that, they go totally retaliatory on him, and that is unacceptable. He does manage to get his cases in the criminal court dismissed and then pursues a civil suit, which he should. Well, until the next time, there you go. There's exactly the reason why some of these things with these encounters with police need to be recorded, because without the recordings, it's just the police getting to use the government's power to tell the story in the way they like to. Big fan of cameras, big fan of body-worn cameras, not a real fan of being confrontational to just start shit with the police, but I am a fan of recording those interactions in their entirety. Until the next time, from the Wolfgram Worldwide headquarters here in Minneapolis on this cloudy day, Wolf 6 out here.